Hello everyone, my name is Syed Irtaza Hassan and I am your digital instructor for O-Levels Pakistan Studies. We'll be starting with the history, culture and government for Cambridge O-Level syllabus. And moving on, we're going to discuss different things in this course, including the history, the culture, the government dynamics in Pakistan. For any kind of queries, for any kind of questions, you're always welcome to reach me out at irtazahassan56@gmail.com. I'll be uploading the email in the video description also. This course is more about the transformation, the journey, the interaction, how Pakistan came into being, the political, social, and cultural factors that were involved in it. We're also going to study the early influences, then we're going to move on to the Mughal Empire along with the British government, followed by the different eras and different things that took place in this whole struggle for independence. In the part one, we're going to discuss the cultural and historical background of the Pakistan movement. What were the reasons of the decline of the Mughal Empire, the British in India, realism and confidence. In part two, we're going to discuss the emergence of Pakistan from 1906 to 1947. There are different factors, creation of Muslim League. Then you have Muslim organizations, war of independence, their aftermath and impact. Followed by that, we're going to come to nationhood that starts from 1947 till 1988, the birth of a new country, Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah and Liaquat Ali Khan, followed by Mr. Ghulam Muhammad, the political instability in Pakistan, the changing of 7 prime ministers, the martial law of General Ayub Khan, followed by General Yahya Khan, and many different personalities, including Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and Benazir Bhutto. We're also going to discuss that in the part 2. In part 4, we're going to discuss Pakistan and its relationship with the world. That includes Pakistan in Asia, Pakistan in the rest of the world, Pakistan in the 1990s, and the new century. These are one of the most focused aspects that we're going to discuss in our lectures. The purpose of studying this course is to make you all realize the importance of history, why history is important, what impact it has on us, iski ahmiyat kya hai, ye kyun zaruri hai. All these things are going to be discussed. We're going to start with part 3, nationhood, that is on page number 109. Here it is. Here it is, nationhood 1947 till 1988. When all of you know that when a new nation like Pakistan came into emergence, there were a lot of problems. There were financial problems, there were social problems, there were economic constraints, and these problems were hindering the success and growth of the new country. Other than that, there were various payments that were not given by India that had a very, very road-blocking view in overall success of this country. The new nation, problem facing the new nation. In the beginning, the main problem that arose was foremost and initially the flag of Pakistan. The white stripe represents peace and honesty and symbolizes the role of religious minorities. The crescent star and green background are all traditional symbols of Islam. The green also symbolizes hope. It also symbolizes love. The flag was designed by Qaid-e-Azam himself. What were the main problems that Pakistan had to deal with? The first was the refugee problem, because there was a lot of influx of refugees from India, and on a very newborn state like Pakistan, it was a source of crippling economy. Second, the water dispute between India and Pakistan, the division of military, government, and financial assets. These were one of the 3 main core things that were problematic between India and Pakistan, and they had to be resolved. The first one is the division of military, government, and financial assets. With partition, it was necessary to divide the wealth and military strength of the old India between the 2 new governments. It was an almost impossible task because of the sudden departure of the British. The process was hasty. And when this process was hasty, students, ultimately it led to a bit of bias towards India. Everything belonging to the old government had to be divided and then shared out. Even the typewriters, office, furniture, refrigerators, and so on and on, everything had to be divided. The division of assets between India and Pakistan was to be at the ratio of 17:5. Muslims in India and non-Muslims in Pakistan who worked for the government were permitted to choose and those received by Pakistan were 23,225. Engineering stores 1,72,667. Pakistan received 1,128. You can see the huge disparity that existed. Then soft vehicles that were allocated to Pakistan were 1,461. Pakistan received only 74. Armored vehicles, Pakistan was allowed at 249 and Pakistan received 0 in it. So there was this huge bias that took place during the military equipment distribution. Then we're going to discuss the distribution of the Indian Armed Forces. Armored divisions, Pakistan received 6, India received 14. Artillery divisions, Pakistan received 8, India received 40. Infantry divisions, Pakistan received 8, India received 21. And this was all due to another factor that is very important to realize over here, that while this division was taking place, the geographical factors were also very important. Since India was very big in size as compared to Pakistan, its geographical domains were very different as compared to Pakistan. So they had an upper edge, and a better PR with the British government led the division of assets in their own favor. Factories in India and Pakistan. Before the partition, India had 1,46,777 factories. Pakistan, after partition, had only 1,414 factories. Many of these were small-scale factories, and no major factory was given to Pakistan. Thus, problems started to arise. Then there was the problem of financial assets. Now, all of you know that when a country is united, its foreign reserves are united, its foreign reserves are centralized. But when an abrupt division takes place, then all of that has to be divided. Almost immediately, Pakistan faced with a cash crisis. The new government had only enough cash to pay 1 month's salary to its employees. Eventually, an agreement was reached to give Pakistan a fair share of the money belonging to the old government. Even then, there was a further delay as the Indian government tried to stop the money being handed over. In July 1948, the newly set up State Bank of Pakistan took over the work of handling currency from the Reserve Bank of India. After partition, most industry remained in India. Only one of the top 57 companies before partition was actually in a Muslim ownership. So you can see from here that 57 companies that operated in the United India, only one of them had a very Muslim ruler, Muslim ownership, which eventually came to Pakistan. Important industries were concentrated around Indian cities, including Bombay and Calcutta. Pakistan had no state works. Only 14 out of more than 390 Indian cotton mills ended up in Pakistan. In East Pakistan, the world's main producer of jute, there was a single jute mill. Production of electricity was a long-running problem. And due to all these problems, the issue of partition became complicated. This issue then sowed the seeds of hatred, of disparity among the different people living in Pakistan. That is another topic that we're going to discuss in the further lectures in the future. Then the most important problem that Pakistan had to face was the refugee problem. Now, all of you know that when the partition took place, Muslims from India came to Pakistan and Hindus from Pakistan went to India. But the amount of Muslims coming from India was in a very, very huge amount. Partition and independence were accompanied by history's greatest migration. And if you see independent news outlets, you'll see that this partition was one of the greatest in the history of the world. At first, people were confused and anxious about how the partition would affect them. Then came panic. About 17 million people left their homes, land, and businesses. because when you have to start new, you have to leave all the things behind, because if you are rooted with a cause, then you have to stick with that cause. Then came the source day appalling, then sleepless nights, then the spirit of retaliation. All these things were very, very deeply rooted when it comes to the partition things. Nearly 7 million people from India, excluding those from Kashmir, entered West Pakistan. At the same time, millions of terrified Hindus fled from Pakistan to India. Attacks on trains and caravan of refugees led to a cycle of violence in which each atrocity was matched by revenge killings. For example, if a Hindu is killing Muslims, so the Muslim will kill a Hindu. So these revenge killings took place during this whole partition episode. Moving on, even those supposed to be protecting people sometimes turned into murder. 1,000 people were killed after the deputy superintendent of the police at Ambala led an attack on refugee train carrying Muslims. Resettling the millions of refugees who had lost their homes was a very big challenge for the government of Pakistan, and the government of Pakistan took that challenge in days to come so that these migrants could be settled. But we're going to come back, we're going to discuss the further parts of history, and for any kind of questions, any kind of queries, you're also and always welcome to share your feedback in the comments section. If you want to join Tutify and be part